Welcome to Kitty Knits, a vlog by Kate Heppel about all things woolly and wonderful. Episode 1, British Knits. Hi, I'm Kate. I am the editor of Knit Now magazine in the UK, and I'm also a knitting designer, and this is my vlog. I'm going to be posting all sorts of things really about knitting and wool and the whole yarn industry from my perspective as a magazine editor. Some behind the scenes things, photo shoots, at some of the yarn shows which I'm going to, which are all over Europe and in the UK of course, and some little bits of advice, hints, tips and news, reviews, all of that kind of stuff. But of course, if there's anything that you would like me to talk about, all you have to do is let me know in the comments below. I've set up a Facebook page and a Ravelry group, and I would love for you to join me over on either of those. So without further ado, this is episode 1, and I'm going to be talking about British knits. British knits is definitely a subject which is close to my heart for 3 main reasons, the first of which is straightforward environmental reasons. I think it's great if we can use yarns which have as low a carbon footprint as possible. So if it's been grown here, spun here, dyed here, then it's not gone very far between the sheep's back and our needles. The second point is animal welfare. Here in the UK we've got really high animal welfare standards, so you can be pretty sure if you're knitting with a British yarn that the animal has been treated well. The third reason for me is that here in the UK we have such a long, wonderful history of textile production, particularly wool. You know, we brought Fair Isle to the world, Aran jumpers come from the British Isles, and I think it's really important to keep that history alive really. Don't let it be just something that we talk about from the past. These are living traditions, and it's so important and wonderful and rewarding to pass them on from one knitter to another. And also in terms of the production side, of there are mills that have been spinning for centuries, and it would be such a shame to lose those, and farms that have been raising sheep for just as long or longer. Yeah, I think it's a wonderful industry, and the more that we can do to support that as knitters, the better really. Something we do every year at Knit Now, which is my magazine, is the Best of British issue, which is really a celebration of everything that's brilliant about the British knitting industry, from British yarns to British designers, all coming together to produce 100 pages of woolly goodness. And we can have a quick look inside. I won't bore you for too long, I promise. Okay, so now we're going to have a look inside this issue of Knit Now. The collection this month is all about myths and legends. There are 6 patterns which are inspired by all kinds of British myths and legends, like Tintagel, Sia, George and the Dragon, which I brought these ones with me just so that you can have a look in 3D. Aren't they ridiculously cute? I know. We've gone behind the scenes with West Yorkshire Spinners, and we've got a pattern from them. We've announced the winners of the Knitter of the Year competition, which is something I'm going to talk about in a later vlog. Our challenge was using West Yorkshire Spinners Illustrious, which is a blend of wool and alpaca and is ridiculously delicious. So there's 3 patterns, each using 100 grams. So if you want to give it a go as a yarn, you just need to buy 1 ball and you can knit any one of those 3 things. I've done a little guide to I-cord edgings, which I've used in my kitty mitts, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Oh, this is a new launch, which my colleague Hugh is working on at the minute. It's going to be so good. And this is stitched together, which again is something I'm going to talk about in a later blog. It's a little campaign we're launching about local wool shops. Something I have done, I think, every time I've done the Best of British issue is what I call my British Wool Challenge, which is the whole of the time that I'm working on the issue, all the way up to when it goes on sale, and until it goes off sale, I work just in British yarn. So that's something I've done again this year. I've got a couple more weeks to go. I'm still working on a couple of projects, but I can show you some of the ones that I've finished while I've been working on this issue. So this is a pair of mitts that I knitted for this issue. I used JC Rennie chunky lamb's wool, which is about an Aran weight. Actually, it's not so much a chunky. Really beautiful stuff, spun in a mill in Scotland, which I visited in December, which is just so beautiful. Out in the middle of nowhere. I really, really recommend you look it up. The yarns are gorgeous as well. The other thing I've been working on as part of my British Wool Challenge is actually some crochet, which is unlike me, but this, again, is from the Knitting Goddess. It was a gradient yarn pack in this beautiful rainbow colour. So you get 12 little mini skeins, and I've crocheted them into hexagons and sewn them together into a cowl. And again, a single photo would not do this justice, but look at those colours, just so beautiful. This, take a look, this is Blacker Yarns Tamar. I think it's pronounced Tamar. It's a really beautiful luster blend, so it's using all of those gorgeous English long wool type sheeps, which are the ones that look like they have dreadlocks. My cat is watching so intently over there, and it's just beautiful. I don't know if you can hear, it's got a slight crunch to it. So it's slightly crispy, really beautiful for colour work, but it's so soft, I can't stop touching it. It's been on my desk since it came in. So these are all of the colours that it's going to be available in, gorgeous dyed shades, but also these lovely natural blends. So it's going to be so good for colour work. Beautiful stitch definition as well. It's a DK weight, it's quite a light DK, I'd say, but it will plump up in the wash. That's Blacker Yarns Tamar, which will be available soon. Just to wrap up, I just wanted to point you in the direction of a couple of places where you can find more information about some wonderful British yarn. The top one for me really is Louise Scully's amazing podcast, Knit British. Louise is so clever and knowledgeable and wise, and she has a wonderful perspective on British wool, and if you've got an hour to spare, have a little listen to one of her podcasts. It's really, really wonderful, you won't regret it. If you want to pick up some beautiful British yarn to try for yourself, check out Brit Yarn, which is run by Isla, who's a really, really lovely, lovely lady, and amazing customer service, and really stocking yarns to suit all budgets. So if you think you can't afford British yarn, take a look at Isla's website. I've put the link down below, and you might be pleasantly surprised. You should also check out the Woolsack website, which was something that was set up for a project for the Olympics and Paralympics when we had them in London a few years ago. It was originally set up to help people find British wool to knit cushions as gifts for all the Olympians and Paralympians during the Games, but the website has stayed up and it is actually being updated. So there's so many resources, amazing places that you can find British wool on there, so do check that out. All that remains to say is thank you so much for watching episode 1 of Kitty Knits. Please do let me know what you think in comments below over on Ravelry or on Facebook. You can get me on Twitter as well. If you like what you see, click like. If you want to see more, click subscribe, and hopefully I will see you again next time.
Really good, babe.
Shut up.